Hello and welcome to Garage Life TV. Roll the intro. Today we are going to be changing the spark plugs on my 88 Toyota pickup. If you have a 4Runner or a Toyota that is earlier than 96 and has V6, this will apply to you. For this job, you will need a ratchet, a 10mm socket, and a 12mm socket to go on said ratchet. A couple different short extender bits and a long extender. In combination, you can get a lot of different sizes out of these. A Phillips head screwdriver. It is nice to have anti-seize and silicone grease, a gapping tool. You also want spark plugs. I already changed my spark plugs. I'm just doing this again to show you guys. So to get these spark plugs out nice and easily, we're going to be taking off our air box over here, a couple of these hoses going to the throttle body, and a few little sensors that are over here that kind of get in the way of you twisting your wrench. This is a pinch clamp, so you pinch here as you pull to release it. Now you have this out of the way. When pulling the lines that go from the distributor to the spark plugs, it is important that you set them in a place where it's clear which spark plug they came off of. For the first spark plug, I'm going to be using my long extension with the 5/8" spark plug socket. That is all three spark plugs out on this side. So the other reason that I wanted to take my spark plugs out again was that I could use this. When I took my spark plugs out, I took one of the old ones. I took an angle grinder and cut the end off right there. And then I made that channel at a 45-degree angle along it. It's important that the 45-degree angle is such that as you tighten it, it pulls the dirt out along this channel. And let's see how much crud I can remove from my threads with this. If you feel any serious resistance, stop, back it out, and make sure that you're lined up properly. You really don't want to cross-thread this into your head. Now that I've got it a good 4 or 5 turns, I'm pretty convinced that I have it on there straight, and so I'm ready to attach a ratchet to it. So once you get it on there tight, you don't really need to tighten it on there, because we're just taking it straight off. You can see all of this gunk. It's in those grooves that I carved. That's stuff that we pulled out of our threads. Now if when you pulled your thread chaser out, the grooves were full up to the top with gunk, you probably want to do it again because there might be more in there that you weren't able to get out when your grooves filled up.
A few moments later.
A little bit of stuff came out, but as you can see, not nearly as much as before. Those grooves are still pretty much empty. So that means we're ready to move on to the next one.
Eventually.
And thread chaser is looking a lot cleaner. So here's our gapper tool. Very gently. There we go. Right where we need to be. Apply a little bit of anti-seize. Feels like 11 to 15 foot-pounds to me. Maybe a little bit more because of the anti-seize. There we go. It's important to think about the foot-pounds that you want to put in as you're twisting your wrench. That way your internal torque wrench calibrates properly. Here we go. 11 to 15 foot-pounds. Now is when you apply a little bit of silicone grease to the tip of the spark plugs. Put your spark plug wires back on. Make sure that those are on there good and snug. Give them a little yank. Okay, let's get this intake boot back on. Okay, this side is good. Let's move over to the passenger side. I'm now going to use the 12 mil to take this guy off. Get that out of our way. And the 10 mil to get this guy off. Drop that bolt. Oh well. Let's just set that right there. Perfect. Nice and out of the way. And we're just going to put that there. So for this front one, we're going to be using all of our extensions. For this second one, we are as well going to use all of our extensions. And for this last one, we are as well going to be using all of our extensions. Doing this side from this point on is the exact same as we did on the other side. Okay, this emissions charcoal canister, or whatever the hell it is, goes back on here. And zip that back on. Now back to the 12. Make sure the washer is nice and centered. Not that it's really important, but whatever. Looks nice. Reinstall the sensor here that I need to go get from Pick and Pull. Make sure to leave that comment below about how bad it is that I've got a bolt in there instead of the sensor. Plug the sensor in right here. Or make sure your bolt's good and tight. Okay, everything is back together on this side. Make sure everything is back together on that side. And you are good to go. Thank you for watching this video on how to change your spark plugs. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, give that subscribe button a loving embrace. It's 2018, guys. Stop the hate. And stay tuned in for more videos.